combined with some 25 NL until I get enough tables going on the 50 NL, because there are some long waiting lists. And we have our first decision here already. Ace Queen offsuit. This is a low frequency 4-bet. I am gonna 4-bet this one. Low jack versus cutoff. Don't really know the cutoff. But we get him to fold. So that is very good, and that's exactly it. So today my theme is how to improve your red line, the non-showdown winnings. So and one of the tricks is to be quite aggressive, obviously, pre-flop. Just sometimes going more for that 4-bet, like I did in this case. So we're currently playing on 4 tables. Only one of them is 50 NL. The other 3 are all 25 NL. And here we have a player, I think he limped, but he might have posted, I'm not sure. And then we have someone who raised the small blind, so we are getting out of the way with our 7-3 offsuit. But yeah, I'll talk about a few different methods to get your red line up, or at least to not let it go down too much. So yeah, let's see. Here we had Ace-5 off, obviously a fold to the 3-bet, would even have been a fold to the min raise from under the gun. Ace-5 off is just not a great hand, very dominated, because he has all the better Ace-X hands and not really many weaker Ace-X hands. And here we had one of those hands that you could classify as a cooler. It was straight versus 2-pair, but when you bet the 2-pair for value on the river and you then get basically min clicked all in, then it's hard to be good there. But I guess sometimes players just overvalue weaker 2-pair or just a top pair, or they have a bluff, but most of the time it's not the case. You'll just be bleeding chips. Right, we have pocket deuces on the button, but there is an early position raise, so I think the best thing to do is to fold. I'm just trying to see if I can change the title of this stream, because for some reason it keeps saying that we're streaming Sunday tournaments, but that is just not true. And it's just such false advertising. Anyway, we have aces. That's some better news, and we are going to be obviously aggressive with them. And we also have queens. 4-3 offsuit. We are definitely going to raise the queens. And let's see if we get 4-bet with our aces. No, there is a call. Not the best flop for us. We'll now, of course, lose to jacks and tens and jack 10. But I'm still going to go for c-bet, and he folds. And here 9-8-4, we are going to bet 2/3 pot with our pocket queens. If we get check raised, then we will call. So yep, that is what is happening. So even though we went big, he check raised, that's okay. We are definitely still going to call. He now quickly checks when the jack comes. That's fine. We are just going to check behind. And the 3 is just very innocent. And he now overbets it, which is interesting because he checked the turn when it became quite draw heavy, that board. And now he overbets, and we have an overpair there. I don't know this player. I don't have any information on him. No, this is a tough one. The overbet there, but he just shouldn't really have a big hand at this point. So I'm going to call this one and see what I'm up against. He did have 8-9 for 2-pair. Okay, yeah, that is the hand that makes sense, although he shouldn't have played it like that. But well, he got me there because he just checked the turn and then overbet the river, which yeah, but that's a way to to have a better red line calling there. Anyway, here with 3-bet pocket sevens, got cold 4-bet all in, so that is an easy fold. And fortunately, yeah, not doing too well. Okay, here with the ace-9, we are going to go for the 3-bet button versus cutoff. Get called. We flop second pair. I am going to c-bet this one. Obviously a jack won't fold, but that's not the point. Pocket 8s, pocket 7s will call. Well, I hope he doesn't have pocket 7s now. Flush draw, of course, will have called, so we can just check behind. And at this point, I think we have completely run out of value. So we are just going to check. And he had king jack. Okay. Yeah, not going very well so far. The 25 NL. Well, we have pocket jacks. We 3-bet jacks against an early position open. What happened there? King 9 suited against pocket aces and an all-in. Pre-flop all-in, I think. What was going on there? Okay, so this player has limped for a second time. Okay, we have to check here. He did call us. We are gonna go for a small c-bet on this board and we get him to fold. That is a decent result. Okay, now there's no need to go for value here with my third pair with a queen 7 on ace king queen 6. And if yeah, he doesn't bet. Well, now on this river I can just try to go with to get some value with going one big blind. He might call with a 9, a 6, pocket 4s, whatever. And now he decides to raise me. Okay. Well, then I guess I'll fold. I'm getting decent odds, but I did have to be bluffing, and he's more on the passive side, so I'm okay to just fold this. He got one big blind more from me than if he had just raised, but fair enough. Yeah, so going for thin value is also something to improve your red line, even though it might sound counterintuitive. But if you think about it, if you bet and they call, well, then it doesn't matter, then it's showdown winnings. But if you bet and they fold, then you improve your red line, and that's actually quite interesting. Because often you think, well, yeah, if I bet, I'm not gonna get called by worse. I'll just fold out everything, which everything that I beat, which yeah, maybe, but it helps your red line if you do that. Queen deuce suited in the big blind, and everyone folds to us. That's okay too. Queen 9 off in the small blind, obviously a fold. And it was blinds versus blind, queens versus tens there. That's a bit unlucky for the tens. What do you think? Blind versus blind tens are a decent hand. Okay, here we have pocket sevens, but this player in the low jack is tanking. I've been thinking for about 30 seconds now whether to open or not. Although obviously I don't think they're thinking. I think they're just distracted or not there. Okay, we have ace queen off in the low jack. I'm gonna raise this, of course. But if the under the gun player had raised, then there is an argument to just fold ace queen off there. And king six suited is also just a fold in the low jack. In GTO you could open it, but I'm not a huge fan in highly raked games. And the rake here on coin poker is not too bad. Right, so we have pocket sixes. This is another one that I'm just going to fold in early position. And now I get min clicked with our pocket eights. I'm just gonna call the min click. And this is a pretty awful flop for us, just folding pocket eights. I elected to c-bet my sevens on queen jack 8 just to get either some value or just fold out whatever he has. King 10 off against a raise from the low jack, just about a call for this size even. 8-5-5, just going to check. Now I'm going to start betting this one. Oh, bet 2/3 pot. He might already fold out an ace high. And now I am just going to go with the overbet. The jack might is probably not great for him. And well, my bet size he might have called there with ace king, ace queen. Maybe ace jack as well, to be fair. But if we want to improve our red line, we have to be aggressive, especially in the bigger pots, and we get a fold. That's great. So yeah, still licking our wounds from the pocket queen's hand where we got mugged. Yeah, that was a tough one, and I called the river overbet, which I think is something I just should stop doing in general. It probably would help my win rate with a bluff catcher. That's now, the more I think about it, the more obvious it becomes that he doesn't have anything in that hand. But the reason why I called was mainly because I thought that he just checked the turn and then overbet the river. That's just such a weird line to take. Okay, we have ace 10 suited in the big blind with an early position raise. Just going to call this one. This is an okay flop for me. And this is an even better turn for me. I am going to bet this one. If he has an ace high, I don't think he will fold. And now this is even better, because now if he has a queen, well, does he ever have a queen? I'm definitely still gonna overbet this one with quads. Gonna go 31 big blinds. Yes, I'm very greedy, but if he has some slow played aces or kings, he will call there. And I don't just want to bet tiny to get called by ace high. But yeah, unfortunately we don't get paid there, but it is always hard to get paid when you have quads. That's just the reality of it. It's not impossible, obviously, but it's not something that happens a lot. Well, it's slowly starting to improve our doing here. I just need to check on these other tables. We're still on the waiting list for the 50 NL. I would like to play some more 50 NL, not just the one table. But 25 NL is also fine. So the table in the top left is 50 NL, the other three tables are 25 NL. And we have pocket sevens again. Okay, can check queen 8 and we flop 2 pair. That's pretty good. Okay, Griffith gonna bet. And unfortunately he just snap folds. Ace 10 off and the cutoff is a raise, of course. And everyone folds, fine. king, queen off in the big blind, and then here we have ace-9 off, but this is a fold once there is a raise. Okay, there's a raise to 3x on the button, nothing. I mean, I could consider 3-betting, definitely not folding, but I'm gonna call. He bets half pot. We are going to call. See what he does on the turn. Might. Will he ever fold a? I mean, we have some showdown value, but I do want to fold out a 10, not a 10, wishful thinking, ace high. And I think with the overbet I can do that, and whatever he had, he did fold it, so that's good. Also some underpair maybe. Okay, we have ace-9 suited again. Let's just 3-bet it again, even though this is against. No, actually I'm not gonna 3-bet it. Also I have aces on this other table, so I'm just going to concentrate on this and fold my ace-9 suited. Okay, we get called by the button with our aces, starting with a check out of position on this board. And the board is getting worse and worse. I am going to check once again. I'm not loving it if he bets. And it depends how big he bets. If he bets small, it's okay. He doesn't bet at all, so I think now I can go for value. I am going to overbet a tiny bit. And here we have king-9 suited. Well, we got a quick snap fold. Now on the buttons against a cutoff raise, king-9 suited is fine as a 3-bet. Unfortunately, we get 4-bet by the big blind. So obviously we are going to fold now, though this is very annoying. But not with king-9. Okay, 7-6 off. He's made it quite small, so I'm just gonna call. He c-bets and I will fold. Yes, I know this is not great for the red line, but with 7 high there on jack 4-4, there's not that much. Yes, we have a backdoor straight draw on a paired board and 7 high, so not exactly the qualities that I would hope to have there. Five three off is a fold. This is a small blind raise. Jack 6 off is also a fold. Okay, I've got 10 deuce suited. And I am going to 3-bet this one now. So I know I just 3-bet that player in the previous hand, but still. And And this is one where I'm gonna start with a small bet. I think in the big blind versus small blind you do a lot of big bets but also some small bets. But here we're getting check raised. And we're going to check raised and we have 10 high. Then we'll fold. So yeah, maybe this was a bit too ambitious to go for this raise, but I still think it's okay when he raises in the small blind. Now we have 5-6 suited on the button. That's the hand that I like playing as a suited connector. But let's see, there is action in front of us, so now I'm just going to fold. It's a marginal hand anyway, and I wouldn't call with it if then I would just raise it. Yeah, we have an all-in again. Again, small blind. This is exactly the same two players. Earlier it was queens versus tens. Now it's aces versus ace-10. And both times this player, the big blind, gets stacked. Not having a great day there. But yeah, is it a bit too optimistic to go all in with ace-10 suited blind versus blind? I guess he was trying to 5-bet jam the other player out of the pot. But, it's a bit weird. Right, here there is some poster. And the small blind makes it 6 big blinds. And yeah, this guy keeps limping, which is great. Not that we could join. Check 8 suited on the button, but there's a raise and a min 3 bet. So definitely gonna go out of the way. Ace-9 off, of course. We're going to raise this on the button. We get called. And we could go either way. I'm gonna go for a small C bet. And we just take it down. So that was the hope. But if not, we have 2 overs. We have a backdoor flush draw. We have a backdoor straight draw. So not the worst for us. Okay, we have pocket 5s in the big blind. There was an early position raise, then a player in the low jack called, and unfortunately there is a squeeze now on the button. He made it quite small, but obviously I'm not going to cold call that 3 bet. This is interesting. So the player in the low jack should not have a flatting range there, but oh, look at this. He back raises it. That's interesting. And now the squeezer has to fold. Well, you could have just called there or folded, and then I could have seen a flop. But you had to go big. That's okay. Okay, 5-3 suited. I can raise this one in the small blind. Also, I have not been very active on this table, especially not in late-ish position. Then 3 deuce. Gonna start with a check. We could do with some protection, but we're out of position with a very flimsy hand on a board that's not amazing for us. He bets half pot. Definitely calling. Okay, now we have an open ender, but the clubs got there too. And now the question is whether I want to turn this into a bluff or not. I don't really think he has a bluff, but also I don't think that I can get him to fold a lot even if I go quite big. He now bets quite big, and at this point I'm just going to fold and concentrate on the kings. Right, going to start with a check. 5-6 suited, my one hand that I would like to raise. And similar to the aces hand earlier, this board is just getting worse and worse. I mean, these middling cards end in 3 spades. Now he bets 4 big blinds, but that's okay. I am going to call this with my overpair. Let's see what he does on this river. He bets pot on the river. So he called pre-flop and now he does this. He's basically, I mean, he probably doesn't have a flush because I think he would bet a flush draw on the flop. But, well, he might have 8s, 9s, 9-8. I only really beat a bluff at this point. And he's quite passive as well. And he bets very big. The board's not amazing. I'm just going to fold. I was kind of close there, but yeah, who knows? I called earlier when I was wrong. Maybe now I folded when I would have been right, but I will never find out. Okay, there is a limp from this player, and now we're going to raise it up to 7. So yeah, this is the guy who likes limping, and when he goes so big there. Okay, not loving this flop, but I am going to go with a c-bet. I'm gonna raise ace-deuce off as well on the button. Getting min-clicked by the small blind. Okay, well, giving us great odds. We're definitely calling. Now we have a gut shot. Okay, this is getting worse and worse. I am going to call with a gut shot. He keeps barreling, and here we can't do much. Yes, we have the 8 of clubs, but annoyingly, I have to give up again against this player. And here we are not really in great shape. I'm just going to fold now. Yeah, I'm having to fold a lot at the moment. And now I'm unfolding the king 6 off where I actually wanted to raise it. So that is a byproduct. But yeah, who knows, maybe the guy had aces. And I just saved myself a lot of big blinds. Yeah, the last few minutes haven't gone very well, have they? Well, let's see if we're luckier with tens than we were with kings and queens and even aces. Well, with aces at least we didn't lose, but we won a small pot. With kings we lost a medium-sized pot, and with queens we lost a big one. Gonna 3-bet the pocket tens on the button against the cutoff open. And we get him to fold. So yeah, if any of you has any questions or suggestions, please let me know. Write them in the comments, because I'm here to chat with you, to answer questions about the game, about coin poker, about me, my channel, my other channel, the live poker guide. And am I still on the I'm still on the waiting list for the other 550 NL tables. Crazy that after 45 minutes I still haven't got a seat on them. Okay, pocket nines are getting called by this player again. I'm just starting with a check now, and I'm gonna call 4-3 suited. He now bets for, okay, so now I'm just gonna call because he just seems a bit aggro post flop. And even my 4 high, I'm gonna fold. He keeps barreling, but I am going to call again. And now on this river, I am still going. Am I going to check now? I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna bet really small to try to induce him. Don't know if it works, but yeah, I mean he does raise. Okay, I lose to pocket queens. I lose to jack 10, but I just don't think that's an issue, so I am gonna go with the all-in. Because if he has another set, sixes, threes, he will call. He has pocket jacks. Great, wow. We got him there in the end, but he actually had it until then. And he paid us off on that river. Did not expect that. Yeah, so that's like, he is like really not a crusher. With pocket jacks on that board, you just call the 3 big blinds on the river and you just hope that you beat some second pair. Or if you do raise, then you have to fold once you get shoved on. Okay, king 6 suited, I'm just gonna fold. This time also he makes it 8 big blinds, which I know is not a lot, but normally he makes it 4 big blinds. So speaking of not being a crusher, I suspect that's the case for that guy as well. But yeah, that was a lucky 9 there on the river. 4 suited in the big blind. There is a player who posted. Okay, and it's tempting to just complete against this weaker player, but no, I am going to be disciplined. Fold my Jack 4 suited. Okay, ace queen suited in the big blind. This will be a raise if someone, I mean a 3-bet if someone raises, but everyone just folds. Okay. Jack 9 suited, can definitely raise it up on the button. Ooh, we got a 50 NL table finally. That is great. So I'll have to decide where to stop playing. Okay, we got called by the small blind, who is normally a decent player. I'm gonna check this one back now. Think I'm going to leave this table there. Okay, I'm gonna check again. And this river is pretty ugly. I mean, it gives us 2 pair, but brings in the 4 flush and a straight, albeit it's a bit unlikely. He goes for 3rd pot, and I mean, does he do that with a hand that's weaker than mine, or a hand in general that's not a club? But I think for this sort of a price, I have to call my 2 pair. I did have the 7 of clubs there. Right, and up here, we flop bottom 2 pair against the limper. We bet out and we got raised, so we're calling now. And he keeps betting. Any merit in raising this? Well, now on this river, this is a pretty good one. Shall I do the same thing again? Just trying getting like 3 big blinds. The hope that he raises. He'll raise a 10 if he has one. He might raise a queen. Yeah, he just basically shoves. And I lose to queen 10 into pocket queens, but I'm still gonna shove this one. He had queen 6, so he What? Two? Well, this is a pretty another really badly played. Wow, this was real bad how he played this one. So because he got counterfeit on the river, so yes, he still had two pair, but not the six anymore. He had the queen only, and then the tens. He would lose to a naked ten. So I don't know if he can't have bluffed there. He can't. I mean, maybe he was hoping to get me off a better queen. Although I just think he was just thinking that he might have the best hand. He thought he had three pair. Very interesting one. Okay, and this is the table. Oh, now I'm still stuck there. Shall I get rid of this table then? Okay, I'll sit out on this one because I have this 50 NL table and I don't want to be more than 4 tabling when I stream. I think it's confusing enough as it is. But yeah, this once again, this shows how soft the games are on coin poker. I can't believe it. Okay, we now have a gut shot with 2 undercards on this board. I am just going to check behind, especially because I don't think, well, this player will. I think now I am just gonna go for it. Yes, and I get them both to fold with my 9 high. Excellent. Okay, here we can just leave. And here we have ace king. I'm just going to go slightly bigger than I normally would with a better hand at this table. So yeah, this guy gets the non-crusher tag. And check 5-4 with ace king. If they check to us, we can go either way. I'm gonna start with a check now. Okay, no, I think now I don't have much reason to bet, so I'll just check again. And I'm running out of showdown value on this board, unfortunately. I mean, anything beats me. He goes off pot. Don't think he has a 7, but I mean, he could have anything. Would he not go any bigger with something? I'm just gonna fold. It looks nitty, but it doesn't really matter. It's a small pot. It do suited. I'm gonna fold this one. So yeah, we had two players today who overplayed their hand massively, but really massively. And they gave us our profit. Without them, we might be in the minus. Okay, so this is also a 50 NL table now on the bottom. Jack 9 suited under the gun. I used to hope mans like this. Not anymore. Yeah, on Monday afternoon, and the games are brilliant. I should put together a video of the best pots, like the craziest mistakes or overplays I've seen. Right, we got the next 25 NL table, which is great. So now I will get rid of this as well, even though we just paid the big blind. And we don't have any notes on him. We're just going to call ace queen off in the big blind. Starting with a range check. We bets. Just think this is a call with 2 overs. Here we're going to 3-bet king queen. Now we have a double gutter. And he bets just over pot, so with a double gutter we'd have to get some money, but we do have some showdown value, so I am going to call with a double gutter. And now we have an overpair, and down here I am going to start with a small, actually now I'm just gonna check, and here I'm gonna check as well with now top pair, top kicker. And we win it. Right, he bets 12 now, so that's okay. We are calling the 12. Fortunately, we now have second pair. And we got quads again for the second time today. Okay, well, now let's try. He bets half pot and no, sadly, no more action there. I mean, yes, we lose against an ace, but I still think I want to call this one. And yeah, he had absolutely nothing. Nada. Airball. Good that we didn't fold and we'll let him bluff it off there. And here we have pocket kings. Let's see. I'm definitely going to raise. Blind versus blind. We get called and there's the ace. Starting with a check. I think people over c-bet ace high boards, but we're gonna check now because I think he would gonna call, I mean, because I think he would also 3-bet quite a few ace x hands. And we're gonna go for a small bet on this river. You get called by, he did have an ace, okay. Yeah, he had the kind of ace that he wouldn't necessarily 3-bet, ace 3 off, I get that, but that's fine. Okay, now we have ace king, same table, and here king queen off. Normally I would say I'm happy to fold this one, but not this time because we have this player who just calls with any two, seemingly. And yes, it's not ideal that he has position on us, but it's still fine. He checks. It's interesting that he checks. Well, we're out of position. I have to check again. I don't think I can get him to fold anything worse. He checks again, and now on this king river, I am going to overbet. And he calls, and he has, don't know what he has, but we win it. He snap called our overbet. Could have gone even bigger, probably. I mean, I am getting a bit lucky against him as well. Right here, I'm happy to c-bet, and if he folds a hand like king jack, queen 10, 9, 8, then it's great, but he doesn't. But we have a gut shot, and we are going to call with our ace high. Here we have, okay, we have to concentrate now. He keeps betting quite big there. Sorry, I am just stretched a bit too far. I'm just gonna fold this now. And here we face a bet with our pocket fives. This is an easy fold. And now with our 10 high, definitely folding. Nice hand. So yeah, I currently got 5 tables open because this one I'm just waiting for it to wind down. 2 more hands after this one, and then I will replace it with this other table. Okay, he limps again, so we can just go for a value with king queen. Yeah, this is an amazing table. This time he folds, okay. Happy with that as well. I've made a few quid against him. Few bucks, rather. That's my Englishness, although I am not English, but I have lived in London for 17 years, so I have adopted this lingo to some extent. Also, my wife is British. So yeah, you might not have been able to see the hand with the pocket fives on that table because I think it was a bit outside of the recording screen. But I called in the big blind. I had pocket fives, the cutoff raised, pre-flop I called, and then on ace king 10 he c-bet and I folded. Not that spectacular, but I'm just telling you the action again because I commented on it earlier without really showing it, so it's better to just talk about it again. Okay, we have ace queen off in the small blind, and there is a raise. Okay, there is a 3-bet as well now, which is a bit unfortunate. And they are both early position raises and 3-bet, so I will have to fold my ace queen. Okay, so now I can close this table and bring this other one up. Although this got, I'm gonna change these just because the 25 NL table I had it down here and it just confuses me and probably you as well if it's now suddenly at the top. So now we're back to as it was, 25 NL table bottom right, and the other three are all 50 NL tables, and there are two tables, the top left and the bottom right, where we have massive whales who have brought us a lot of joy already. So let's see if we can make some more. Okay, 8-4 off, I'll definitely fold it, whatever happens. Ace 10 off, definitely a fold after an early position raise. Okay, a bit of a slower period now. Hopefully we will have some hands soon. But as you know, I do like to play fairly tight. This is the best strategy. I think if you're an absolute crusher, you can open up your game. But the problem is that with every extra hand that you play, you have to win more money with weaker hands just to break even. Here I'm gonna min raise the ace-9 off. This is quite marginal in GTO, but if we have a whale in the small blind, I'm still happy to do that. Well, the whale folds. And everyone folds, so no harm done. Yeah, so the thing is, like, a lot of people like playing looser, but the thing with playing loose is, sadly, our favorite player has left. That is a shame. He left before he even played his button. Well, okay. Sad times. Yeah, so you have to win more with weaker hands because you're not suddenly going to get dealt aces and kings more often. That means that if you open up, you have to win more hands with weaker hands. And but that's not all because you'll pay more rake by playing more, and that means that you'll have to win even more just to sustain the win rate given the rake considerations. And that's why you have to be an absolute crusher to and by that I mean just a relative crusher in the games that you play to make it work for you, because otherwise what you'll end up doing is just paying more rake, and that just eats into your win rate. And that's assuming that you're a good player, because if you're not even a good player, then you'll just lose more by playing more hands. Okay, Jack 6 suited, definitely not a call, especially once there was a call in the small blind. Okay, here we have 6-4 suited. This is one we can call. We flop to, well, now we have 3 pair. We are going to go, gonna bet getting called maybe by an ace. Is there merit in betting again? I'm gonna go small. An ace might still look me up. And if not, that's what I was saying earlier, he folded, and that's fine for my red line. I'm trying to improve the red line, and this will have helped. Pocket 7's on the button, and pretty much everyone's sitting out at this table. I think I might do the same, because I don't want to play 2 or 3-handed. Not because I'm afraid or anything, but I just think when you stream, you play several tables, it's just too much to have to play there all the time. Right, so now the table has stopped, which is sad. I mean, everyone was just here for this one really weak player, and now they've all left, and they've left me alone. Okay, I am leaving as well. That's fine. I'm leaving as well. Right, is there any other game that we could join? Here we go, here's one. But again, we have to swap, because I definitely want to keep the 25NL table in the bottom right. That's where I'm used to having it. That's where my muscle memory knows where the fish are. Okay, and here we might have a chance against our favorite player, but sadly not, because the small blind makes it 6 bigs. Could consider 3-betting there, but then the weak player might even call that. We would have flopped the flush draw. King, queen suited in the big blind. We're getting raised. I think I could go either way. This is a hand where I just like calling with. This is a board that you should check a lot. Yeah, I can take a stab. I'm going to take a stab. I think that is profitable to take a stab, even though we are getting check raised. I'm going to min click this one. Because I do think that he doesn't always have a big hand there. I could have pocket fours. I could have 9-8. Well, but now he just min clicked me again. Although this is a little bit more than a min click, he double clicked me. Okay, well then I will have to let it go. He calls himself an ice cold killer, so that's fine. Thing is, there are a lot of weaker players in this player pool. I don't need to mess around too much with the more aggressive ones, especially if I don't know how good they are or not. Okay, king 8 off, definitely worth a raise. Okay, queen unsuited, we can raise this one up. Okay. I thought I clicked on raise and I hadn't. Okay, we flop second pair. Gonna check range when we get called in position. He quickly checks back, but still going for a check, giving him the opportunity to maybe start bluffing. And now that we have 2 pair, I think now we can go. If he has some sort of showdown value, he might call us. I'm just gonna overbet this river. But he folds. 10-8. I would have opened it on the button, but not now. Jack 9 suited in the hijack, just a little bit too early. Cut off, I would raise it. Ace King suited in the big blind. Okay, that's interesting now. There is a raise on the button. If I'm still going to raise this one to 3-bet this, even though now I expect the weak player to fold. But Ace King suited is just too strong a hand to just call it there and see a flop multi-ways out of position. And I get both players to fold, which is, to be fair, a very good result with Ace King suited. Because I still made 4.5, 5.5, 6 plus my 1. So I made 7 big blinds. Uncontested. Okay, we open pocket 8s, get called by 2 players. And I'm going to check out of position. This guy called me from quite early. So I was the low jack, he was in the hijack, but he checks, which is good. Queen not ideal. We'll check again. I just don't want to snap check, but I will check this one again because I can't even get that much protection. Well, I guess if both of them have a hand like ace, deuce, and king 9, then I'd benefit from it. Okay, and now this guy bets quite big, and I'll just have to fold. Not saying that he necessarily has it, but he just called in the hijack, and then he becomes quite aggressive. They're betting almost pot on the turn, and all I have is a bluff catcher and under pair to quite a bit of the board. Okay, king queen suited. I'm just gonna call against the same player now. We flop a gut shot, and this definitely is more our range than his. Here I'm gonna raise 7-6 suited, the cutoff, mix it up a little. Been quite tight on that table. Okay, here we have a tanking situation on both tables. Okay, the ace unfortunately is not great, even though the hearts are good. I am going to go for, well, no, I'm gonna go for a slightly smaller bet on the turn. And now I'm just gonna bet really big on the river. Okay, here on the right we can start with a small bet for protection with our bottom pair. And here we got it through with our king high. That's excellent. And now I am actually going to overbet this one. The board is very good for me, and I can definitely get him to fold a hand like an 8, pocket 7s. Yep, and he does fold, so there we go with our red line again. Yeah, so do you have any tricks or hacks for red line improvement? I'm always interested in hearing what you guys have to say. Okay, king queen off. I am going to 3-bet this one against the button raise, and here I'm going to raise king 10 suited. Get called. We have top pair, which is pretty good. We're going to go for a c-bet. Okay, we're getting 4-bet by this guy. And I don't know if I should put in the... I do think he is quite aggro, but I'm still gonna fold there. Here we have an easy call with this hand. And we